Hey guys, SFP here, and welcome to another episode of my FIFA career mode for DC United. The second episode of this weekend, and technically now it's the 10th episode of the whole season. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. I know I am. It's been a busy week at work here. Whatever. Technically, I haven't told you guys what I do, but let's just say that most of what I hear tend to be complaints. Anyways, I actually started off the weekend nicely here watching, or I guess I should say introducing my younger sister to the world of Star Wars by watching the original trilogy. The whole, the New Hope, or A New Hope. I apologize for any Star Wars fans who are cringing at what I'm saying right now. The Empire Strikes Back, and lastly, the Return of the Jedi. Now we've actually marathon this, all three episodes. I was gonna say movies, but technically they are episodes. As we start here with DC United, playing against the Vancouver Whitecaps in the only stadium that's on FIFA right now, which is BC Stadium. Which it looks nice, but I'm not a big fan of the shadow that it creates on the field. But anyways, as I was saying, I was watching the original trilogy with my younger sister, and what a goal there by, I want to say, Pedro Morales, a Chilean. Unlike me, the computers can actually score off a free kick. I still haven't managed to score a free kick on this FIFA here. Well, actually, I should say on the FIFA for the PS4. I have managed to score a couple of free kicks on the Xbox 360 when I had FIFA there. But on the PS4 at the moment, I still haven't been able to master. Heck, I still haven't been able to master how long I have to hold the shot button to create enough power to actually go in goal, because typically when I score I kind of just tap it lightly and maybe slightly hold it here and there, but the shot itself still is pretty weak. But anyways, like I was saying, I introduced my sister to the trilogy. I'm wondering, you guys who are watching at the moment, which one is your favorite episode? And here we go, nicely tying it up here, and I'm not quite sure how to explain this goal because it look at the fans there. They're extremely happy. I'm not quite sure how to explain this. I want to say it's a glitch because the smoothness there by Luis Silva is just incredible, and the goalkeeper didn't really do anything. And that shot was way too soft. Honestly, the goalkeeper should have had that. But anyways, guys, for you guys watching, which one is your favorite trilogy for not trilogy, favorite episode for Star Wars? Now, obviously, I'm choosing favorite over best because I think, undeniably, actually, I shouldn't say undeniably, but most people would say that and The Empire Strikes Back is the best. So I'm going more for opinion here, and I'm wondering which of the original trilogy, the episode which you guys actually like the most. For mine, mine would actually be Return of the Jedi. I think that's, in my opinion, the most exciting one. We get to see Luke actually kind of master the Force, because in the beginning, obviously, he was still learning. In the second episode, he got up there, but he wasn't exactly up to par. And in the third one, at least the way he displayed, I'm missing a lack of words here, but the way I guess he portrays himself, the seriousness, the confidence that he has, especially at the beginning with the whole Jabba the Hutt scene. The way he manages himself and kind of imposes that, like, I am a Jedi Knight. That confidence that he had, I think, was refreshing, especially considering how, at the beginning he was quite unsure of himself, because obviously he was still learning the ways of the Force. Anyways, just drop it down in the comment section which episode you like, and if you guys actually are big fans of the prequels, then let me know. I know there's not a lot of you guys out there, and I actually bought the 6 CD set, which is the prequels and the original trilogy. And many people would be wondering why, and it's just the fact that, as much as people dislike the prequels, I actually don't, because considering my age, I actually was basically brought up by the prequels, so I don't have that same opinion that most older people or the old generation has. And what a nice goal there by the Vancouver Whitecaps. I want to say it was Morales or Rosales, Mauro Rosales, but I'm not quite sure. I didn't see the number there. But anyways, even though the prequels are actually of lesser quality than the original trilogy, they're still there and they're still part of canon. So As much as some of you may want to ignore it, it's still there. So you can ignore it all you like, but it's still going to be part of the myth and the lore of Star Wars. Anyways, enough about Star Wars. Let's just focus on this last few minutes of the game here. And I'm trying to get the equalizer, so hopefully I'll be able to get that. If not, we're going to be in a pickle. Because if you guys remember, I'm barely in the playoffs at the moment. I'm holding on to that either fourth or fifth spot. And I kind of want this season to be as long as possible. And for that to happen, I have to be in the playoffs. And ideally, I would want to win the playoffs too. But considering where I am on the table at the moment, I don't think I'll be able to win. But maybe Lady Luck will be on my side, and I'll manage to get to the final and make some magic there. And this is how the game ends, 2-1. It's not the result I wanted, but Pedro Moss was at 9.4. That guy had a great game. It's not the result I wanted, but I'm just gonna have to brush it off and hope to get a win on the next game, which will be against Sporting Kansas City, who I believe just recently got their first win of the season. And I'm glad for Sporting Kansas City because they're a good team, and I'm actually they're a good team even though I kind of dislike Peter Vermees, and I think it's just the way he portrays himself, which is opposite of what I felt about Luke Skywalker. He kind of has this demeanor to him that I'm not a big fan of, but he gets the job done, which is all that matters in this world, in the soccer world. And he gets the results, and he gets those W's. And here we go. I'm on the fifth spot here, so I need to make sure I keep up. And I'm only 5 points away from from the number one spot. So this is actually what I like about MLS. And I'm going on an MLS. I don't want to say rant, but I'm just gonna talk about the fact that I think it's the most competitive league in the world. Not the best, obviously, but the most competitive. And what I mean about competitive is the fact that in a given season, anyone can actually win. And as we saw on the table here, only 5 points separates the number one spot from the number fifth and sixth spot. So that's pretty exciting because in other leagues, there's even there might be even a 10 point gap between the first and second place teams, and that's a little underwhelming because then this season gets decided too early, in my opinion. Now, playoffs are a whole different situation, and that's probably for another episode. But the league itself, I like the fact that the parity is there, and that basically on any given day, any team can win, can beat anybody. And many people would say, well, the BPL is actually the most competitive league in the world. And I guess out of all the big four, I should say, I guess they are the most competitive one out of the European teams here. Not European teams, but European leagues. But looking into it more closely, if you actually look into it, while it is the most competitive out of like I said, the big four, when you look at it, like the last 10 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, Manchester United won 6 out of the last 4, and then Chelsea and, oh, what a nice goal there by Sporting Kansas City. And I want to say it's Tom Dwyer, but it might be Peterson as well. And let's see who it is here once we get a face scan. And then we don't. We don't. I guess that'll be a mystery on its own. But what a nice diving header there. But like I said, when you guys look at it closely, out of the last 10 seasons, I believe Manchester United, and no, it's 20. Oh, I didn't get to see the name. Out of the last 10 seasons, I want to say Manchester United has won 6. Honest Claros, the Honduran international. And so, while you could say it's the most competitive league, if the same team ends up winning most of the time, then is it really competitive? What good is it to be second place all the time? And here's one of those goof goals by Jairo Arieta. And I've noticed that there seems to be some type of a glitch, or I don't know what it is, but every time I manage to score right after the opponent scores, the goal seems to be really, really fortunate on my part, actually. and their Dijkstra's pretty happy. So yeah, like I was saying, if it's European leagues, then I would say I guess it's not Barclays anymore, but the English Premier League, or is it the Barclays Premier League? Well, let's just say the Premier League itself is the most competitive. But like I said, if the same team is winning most of the time, then and can you really call it competitive? I guess that's a nice argument that I guess I could have with you guys if you'd like. I know a lot of people will probably be against my train of thought here, and that's okay. You know, we don't have to agree on everything. That's the beauty of the world here is that you have your own opinions and I have mine. And based in most times opinions aren't they can't actually be right or wrong. I guess depending on the situation. But as long as you're able to back up your argument, then everything should be well. So I give you my 2 cents there, and let's just focus back on the game here. And I'm trying to get that game-winning goal, and I can't seem to find it. And here we go. Sporting Kansas City is trying to find their game winner as well, and he shoots in a nice save and a nice double save there by. Oh my God! I was about to say Willis, but it's Dykstra. Oh God, I miss Willis. I miss Joe Willis so much because he is obviously an improvement over Dykstra. I haven't been a big fan of Dykstra these last couple of games. He seems really shaky, and it's weird because I know he was contesting for that second spot there with Joe Willis for most of the time, and in the last minute of the game, Sporting Kansas City clinches the win with Pablo Nagamura. And I think it's safe to say it's clinching the game because I don't think I'll have enough time to get an equalizer. And Willis, oh my God, I did it again. Dykstra manages to dive on the other side. Which actually, when you think about it, is a reasonable thing to do because technically you would assume that the striker or the player position there would go for the farther post, but I guess he guessed wrong in that one. And I think this is my second loss of this episode. So clearly, this isn't looking good for my playoff hopes. Hopefully, I'm not bumped out. And yeah, I'm still retaining my number fifth spot, my number five spot there. Oh, and then the LA Galaxy. Now I know New York Red Bulls is technically DC United's rival, but I've always held that the LA Galaxy are one of DC's uh, most. I don't want to say important, but it's. I think the LA DC Galaxy, the DC Galaxy game it should be considered a rivalry. It's probably an unofficial rivalry, but it should be an official rivalry because of all the I guess connections both teams have. They've been on the final twice already, which DC luckily managed to win both times. And then both these teams are striving to be the best team in the league. Right now the Galaxy have the upper hand with 5 MLS Cups, while DC United only has 4. And I believe they're actually tied for the amount of trophies each team has earned. Technically, DC United has won one more because they actually just won the Armadillo Trophy, but I really don't want to count that because that kind of makes me feel pathetic. But I will say that DC United is the only team that's been invited to the Copa, I want to say Sudamericana, which we actually got invited twice, and um, we're the only uh, MLS team to be invited to a tournament outside of our own conference. So I think that's pretty special. And at the moment, that's something that I hold dear to us. And there's this whole debacle of whether or not MLS teams should join CONCACAF, not CONCACAF, because that's their conference, the CONMEBOL conference. And by that I mean like in like club tournaments like Copa Libertadores or Copa Sudamericana. I'm not sure which one's the one that allows Mexican teams. I'm drawing a blank here. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Copa Sudamericana. Well, actually, no, it should be Copa Libertadores because Copa Sudamericana sounds like something only exclusively for South American teams. But I think it's Copa Lib. And while I would like MLS teams to participate, because I thought that I mean, can you imagine like Galaxy against Boca, or like New York City FC against River Plate, Sao Paulo versus Seattle Sounders? I think that would be amazing. However, the whole situation with the location and the whole traveling situation that's something that won't be an easy thing to address or to manage, especially for those for like the Pacific Northwest. North what God, I can't even speak right now. The northwestern teams like Seattle, Portland, Vancouver. Those teams would probably suffer the most if they were to qualify for these tournaments. And then, you have a situation where how do you address who actually goes and participates in these tournaments? And oh my God, come on, shoot! Oh crap! That should be in the blooper reel. If I ever decide to make a blooper reel, that definitely is gonna be one of the top bloopers on that blooper reel. I could have sworn it was going in, and then Fabi just kicks it out. Anyways, as amazing as MLS teams participating in the Copa Lib would be, that's just like opening Pandora's box at the moment. I don't think it's gonna. I don't. I think it's gonna happen eventually. I'm not sure how it's gonna happen, but I don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. Give it like maybe 20, 10, 15, 20 years. Maybe by then something will subside and we'll get to see MLS teams participate. And here we go with the first half ending 0-0, and I'm making some changes here. I believe I took Nicky D out for Chris Rolfe or Chris Pontius. I'm not quite, I don't quite remember, but I got Estrada in there as well, and took out one of my forwards, my starting forwards. And here we go with the center of the ball, and Jesse Zardes. And Jesse Zardes has had a good season last year, and he's reaping the rewards at the moment, getting call-ups to the national team. He's seemed okay. I know his is in his debut, he actually played really well, at least in the beginning of the game. He kind of got lost there as the game progressed, but I mean it's expected out of someone who's just starting to I guess get his international career going. And here, what a nice save by Boswell. That's a nice replay from the captain there. I'm not sure if Bill Hamid would have had that. I think he would have. I don't think it would have surprised him, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And Ishizaki's coming in for Villarreal, who's coming back from Cruz Azul, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, and that just goes wide. And I believe that's McBean. McBean has, I don't know what's the situation with McBean. He was such a up and coming youngster a couple of years back, and then Jesse Zardes came and it kind of overshadowed him. And it's only going to get worse because then they have Bradford Jameson, the fourth IV there, who's been pegged as a nice up and coming exciting player. And what a nice goal there by Fabian Espindola. The angle there is just crazy. Can this be the game winner? I hope it is. He was about to punch the cop there, the security guard. That's his fifth goal this season, and I think he's my top scorer, which is kind of sad considering he only has 5 goals. And a last ditch attack by the LA Galaxy, and no, it just goes wide, and that's the end of the game. So 2 losses and a victory. Considering the victories against LA, I'll take it. I'll take it, but obviously it's not ideal. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next week, see you guys later. And remember to check my other channel, SFP Soccer. Until next time, guys, peace out.